at this point of time, I just wanted to throw it back to the audience. If there's anything, any questions which are back to the audience, and the panelists would be more than keen to answer those questions. Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon. Question goes to Sanjeev. Sanjeev, you touched upon, industry using robotics 15 years down the line. Somewhere in Japan, they are developing robotics process automation. And it is said, very soon, BPM industry is going to use this robotics. Philosophy is simple. Japanese believe if a process is repetitive in nature, it can be automated, and probably robots can, replace humans. So, is this going to be a bigger threat? Maybe. But how soon do you see our industry kind of evolving to use such robotics is primarily the question.
I think all of us realize that at the end of the day, we want to have our customers with us. We need to create value for them. The point was we have to disrupt ourselves. We have to be willing to scavenge our own business to create further value for our customers. And that is going to drive the speed for something like this emerging. The technologies are, obviously, if 20 years from now, if there's a great futurist whom I just spoke about is saying machine is going to be smarter than man, I don't see why this is not going to start taking on more and more speed. And I think it will truly be dependent on the way the business environment emerges over a period of time. And we'll all be either leading it, some of us, or some of us will be following, right? So without giving time, 2029 seems to be the time when machine becomes smarter than man, right? That's what we are hearing. I mean, it's not, of course, written in stone,
yeah.
but so that's the only way I can answer it.
Yes, Sanjeev, if I can just add, I don't think it's a step jump. It's an incremental jump. So every time you're looking at some level of automation, some level of streamlining, and where you're bringing in the element of robotics, right? So that's it's incremental. It's not an overnight. It's going to be one fine day. You're going to just be all robotics, right? It's going to be
all these guys walking around.
So,
yeah.
But interesting question. Thanks for bringing it up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi. I want to ask a question. There's a talk about, machine replacing man. What is the adoption of social media products for marketing outsourcing related projects right now in the BPO segment? And is there a room to play for the social media product companies for those, for the international clients? So.
Yeah. So I can give example of and answer it in a way of customer experience, right? So today, social media is becoming one of the biggest touch point for customers to interact with their service provider. Right? What we believe that in times to come, and we are already seeing it, it's a gradual shift, that your voice volumes really are coming down and your other touch points are going up, and social media being the biggest among those. Now today you have solutions available which have ability to interact with your end customer on a real-time basis, the way the conversation happens on a voice call, right? However, if you see, adoption is slow, right? There are companies who are doing it, but a lot more companies are only doing social media right now based on, philosophy of protecting their brands. They don't want any angry customer on, social media, so they just want to do damage control. And most responses, if you see, and I've personally seen several leading consumer companies, their responses would be, we give you a discount voucher, or here's a toll-free number, here's the email, call us back and we'll settle it privately. But in customer is not really interested, right? Social media's impact, we know that who broke my guitar and all those stories, we know that how impactful it can be. It can really create revolution like in Egypt and everywhere. So today you have ability that the moment customer, writes something, one is that you can treat it like a phone call, bring it in a workflow in your organization and solve it. The other piece of it is more proactive, which is you could use it to your advantage to go and upsell something. So in an environment wherein somebody is saying, I'm planning to buy a car, right? So there is an opportunity for not just the automobile provider, but also maybe a mortgage provider, or for a service provider who deals into it, right? And then you can use that data to kind of reach out proactively through various means, and preferably social media, which is what is preferred by more people. So those solutions do exist today in the market.
So the play is huge. Adoption is what is increasing.
If I can just add, we are actually already seeing that in our customer service. In some cases, in certain products, we've actually set up an environment where it's a combination of all of the points which you just mentioned. where people are reaching out and asking about, so how does this product work? What is the value of the product? You know, what are the content? I mean, I don't want to talk about the product itself, but it actually is a multi-faceted approach to managing customers. So, to your point, I agree. I mean, I think it's going to be the future. That's what we're going to live in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to live in the. So.
Absolutely. The last question, and then we'll have to stop the panel. Yeah.
My question is overlay of the previous session that we had, where the August Forum spoke about, and the question is primarily to you. It's on value delivery. So currently, the entire market and the customer centricity, everybody is focusing on delivering value. And most of the leaders of IT, all of you are focusing on value delivery. And I think very soon, value delivery will become a hygiene. So how is that as leaders of IT, we are going to manage this? And it's not going to be far away, probably downstream, say 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, once value delivery becomes hygiene. So what is that we have to do to sustain in this industry? Because the client is going to expect more than.
Okay.
Value, there'll be certain value, which is today. It just
Levels,
shifts,
levels
right?
just
It just
move.
shifts.
Yeah.
There'll be different set of values to be created, because that's why we are in business, right? Something which becomes hygiene, it used to be value before, by the way. Infrastructure management was a value earlier. Now with cloud, infrastructure management is of no value. I mean, it's hygiene now, for example, and there's a different set of value which are emerging. So I think the world exists because of value of some kind of the other. Businesses exist because of that. So I think, value is here to stay,
I think, Raghu, the imperatives and drivers of value, it's not that it's going to go away or, they're going to become different going forward. If you reverse the cassette 15 years back, there have been hype cycles: infrastructure, data center, ERP, business process automation, SMAC, robotics. That's just the technology, waves. If you just look at the business, we started with just outsourcing, which was so naive as a concept, and then it went to offshoring and went to right-shoring, and right now we are talking about globalization. The point is the value drivers and imperatives will keep shifting, and organizations such as like ourselves and the colleagues' organizations will have to think ahead and create those sources of value for our clients. I guess the related part is the more the industry embraces globalization, the distances will shrink between the commodities, the services, the products, the consumers, our clients, like a utility provider, like an insurance provider, like a bank, and us. And perhaps our providers in turn. Let me just finish and conclude the entire ecosystem. The more closer you get to the customer, the more closer you emulate their behavior, their pattern of buying, the new generation, I think that's where the new sources of value will come.
Sure. Thank you so much, Baljinder. Thanks, Sanjeev, for there.